and welcome to EdYou Pulse, your weekly roundup of events, conversations, and developments in the education sector. I'm Caroline Samuel, and on this week's program, we take a look at Guyana's rollout of the new biometric attendance system in schools, highlights from the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, World Radio Day, and the evolving role of EdYou FM, and all the excitement from this year's children's Mashramani competitions. All that and more coming up on EdYou Pulse. Teachers at some schools in Guyana will soon be required to clock their attendance using a biometric system. Minister of Education, the Honorable Sonia Parag, stresses that the initiative is not punitive, but is aimed at ensuring that students receive consistent instruction. The biometric system will indicate the number of hours teachers are present at school. It will record when teachers arrive and leave, providing the Ministry of Education with real-time attendance data. Minister Parag acknowledged unease among some educators, but reiterated that the initiative should not be viewed as punishment, assuring that explanations would still be required in cases of absence. She urges educators to demonstrate greater accountability and compassion as the ministry ramps up its efforts to improve classroom teaching.
You know, this is an initiative that is already happening in schools. There would have already been a meeting held with the Georgetown head teachers and the CEO of the Ministry of Education, informing them that we will be placing biometrics. And as a matter of fact, some of the schools already have the system in place. And it's not a biometrics where you have all of your personal data going into it. This is where we will have your name, the fact that you are designated as a teacher, and it is to ensure that you sign in, sign out. Now, I don't see this as an issue because you already have in the school system, and you're supposed to have a record, an attendance record book that is signed by every teacher, supposed to be signed by every teacher that is in the care of under the care of the HM or the head teacher. So this is just us upgrading that to a digitized form of doing things. And you know, we want to modernize the education sector. So this is it's not a case of where this never existed and you're now holding teachers accountable. It is for efficiency and it's for accountability, yes, but it is a digitized way of doing that. And I believe that we will get, and it's a report that will be generated by the system. So I think that is important. The biometrics are already in the Lenora School. It's already in St. Stanislaus. It's already in St. Rose's and a number of other schools. We are not imposing this in schools without speaking to the head teachers. They are aware. What this does is it tells us the time when you came in, the time when you've left, how many times you came in, how many times you've left. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. A lot of the government agencies and ministries already have it. We are not requiring schools to do any fundraisers to put the systems there. There is a grant that the Ministry of Education works with the school, they issue out to the schools, and that they can use that as well. If not, then the Ministry of Education will work with the schools and assist the schools in procuring these systems to be put in place.
The biometric system is being piloted in several schools ahead of a full national rollout. Among the institutions already implementing the system are St. Stanislaus College and St. Rose's High School.
The biometric system has been installed since school reopened for the new academic year on September 8th, 2025. Well, the impact is that we've had teachers coming, early or more regular. And in terms of, registering their correct time, so to speak, on the system, right? Because it's time stamped in terms of when you put your finger there or your face, that's the time that is registered. That's one of the reasons why we installed the system, because we are big on accountability here. To be honest, there was a little pushback with one or two members of staff, so I consulted the CEO. All right, because some persons were concerned about the legality and things like that. So I spoke with CEO, and based on the conversations, we went ahead. I have a copy of our attendance register here, and so it was handwritten, so somebody had to write it up every week. And so sometimes, so you had some persons who would come and record the time, honestly, and then you had some persons who, would not record the correct timings that they were here, things like that. And then, some persons, when they're absent too, the day before, and if it goes unnoticed, they would come and sign in the time, when they return, things like that you would have. You can do thumbprints, not only the thumb, the fingers. You can do the fingers, you can do the face. There is provision for also a card, or you can do a code, all right? But we chose to do the thumbprint. And I know, for instance, there's one teacher, she has an issue with her fingers. So sometimes it's not necessarily being registered on the system. So we did a facial recognition for her. The system it's very good. It's less bulky in terms of monitoring the time book. You don't have to, where somebody's late, you have to go to the time book originally and, draw a red line. So we don't have to do that anymore. And what is also good is that it's attached to a software. So you can print daily printout, weekly printout, monthly printout. So it's easy for the person who's doing the absence return of teachers or the staff just to accumulate the data.
I'm sure that St. Rose's High School is ready and waiting to have the biometric system in place. Teachers are eager because they have a flight of stairs to climb to get to sign their time daily. So they prefer, right downstairs, as soon as they come through the gate, they're right there. They can just press their finger and they go their way. That will be accepted by them. We have finished registering our staff, generally, not just teachers, but every staff on board will be in the system. I believe that the biometric system will somehow improve attendance and punctuality with the staff generally. We do not have that as a big problem here, but I know that it will be improved.
The International Day of Women and Girls in Science is observed annually on February 11 to highlight the vital role of women in scientific discovery and to inspire future generations of girls to pursue science-related fields. To commemorate this occasion, girls from grades 9, 10, and 11 were invited to participate in an art competition celebrating the contributions and achievements of women in science. The competition, which concluded last November, saw entries from female students from schools along the coast and in the hinterland. On Wednesday last, NSERD's science unit, led by Miranda Sobers-Stahl, hosted an award ceremony to honor the participants and encourage their pursuit of the sciences. Inspired by art educator and Chief Judge Lorianne Jacobs, Mrs. Sobers says the competition was intended to explore the intersection of science with art.
So the theme this year for the International Day of Women and Girls in Science is From Vision to Impact, Redefining STEM by Closing the Gender Gap. Now, out of this, or prior to the theme being established, we at the science unit had to come up with something to send out to the girls. So we have a local theme. And we said, celebrating women in science, inspiring girls for the future. So this initiative, before I go into the overview of the observance, the initiative was in my mind because I have a friend, a former colleague, who is so passionate about art. She felt that art was in everything. And so she opened my eyes and I started to try to see where art related to science. And then when I was at college many moons ago, someone said to me, a lecturer, I think it was, they posited the question, is science an art or is art a science? And so I leave that there because I don't know what the answer is. But this friend, she inspired me. And so I started to think about when this activity was given to me, International Day for Women and Girls in Science, about 3 years since I'm here. I started to think about what can I do to really make an impact. And I remembered art and I remembered science, and I tried to put the two together. And that person is looking away, no other than Lorianne Jacobs. Now, we sent out invitations to all education departments and they responded. However, only 9 departments participated. And I want to thank those departments. So please take it back and give yourselves a round of applause. So out of those 9 departments, 15 schools participated and submitted a total of 22 entries. So the United Nations has repeatedly emphasized that when women are underrepresented in science, the entire world loses valuable ideas and perspectives. Don't you think you should give yourself a hand? We have valuable ideas and perspectives. And it is recognized where? Internationally. You're right. Yes. Global challenges such as climate change, public health, and technological development require diverse scientific voices. So our voice matters. Addressing these challenges begin early. Girls must be given opportunities to explore scientific ideas, ask questions, and express understanding in meaningful ways. So this is where today's artwork comes in. The pieces created by the girls in this competition reflect key scientific processes, such as observation, interpretation, inquiry, and imagination. Through art, these young participants engage with scientific ideas and communicate how they understand the world around them. Their work reminds us that science is not limited to laboratories or textbooks. It begins with curiosity, as Giselle said. It grows through creativity, and it develops when young minds are encouraged to think critically and confidently.
In addition to their understanding of the theme, artistic skill, and creativity, another critical aspect of the Women and Girls in Science Art competition was the presentation. The girls were required to produce a 150-word description of their artwork, and then the top 12 were further challenged to exercise their communication skills by presenting their pieces on video. Take a look.
Greetings, I am Priya Jacobs and I attend the North Community School. I want to take this time to enlighten you about this wonderful painting you are beholding. This painting is entitled Passing On to Man. The painting seeks to represent the theme, Women in Science Today, Girls in Science Tomorrow. The medium is used in the painting is acrylic on a canvas. The painting depicts a woman and a girl at a table in a science lab. The woman is wearing a light blue coat, handing a torch towards the girl. The torch represents knowledge. The girl is depicted in more intense blue top, which is symbolic of her taking the knowledge given to her to a greater degree. A book is open in front of the girl, which also represents knowledge entrusted to her. The girl is depicted with a smile on her face to show that she's happy and proud to be entrusted with such great wealth of knowledge that will be used and harnessed for the future. The lines around the woman shows that she's representing women in science. And the lines around the girl also shows that she's representing girls in science tomorrow. I trust that you enjoy and appreciate this painting because I enjoy it.
They say science is about facts, numbers, and formulas. But I, Tiana, believe science is a dream waiting to be discovered. I stand here not just as a girl, but as a possibility. Look, there is a woman exploring life itself, exploring our forests, our rivers, our health, our futures. She asks questions the world is afraid to ask, and she finds answers. And there, a teacher, a woman who believes before we believe. She plants confidence like seeds and watches young minds grow. Above us, ideas glow. A light bulb sparks, a galaxy swirls, a DNA twist. Today, women lead in laboratories, classroom fields, and research stations. And tomorrow is watching, learning, dreaming bigger. I am that tomorrow, and I dare to dream because she did it first.
Good morning, my name is Nitya Vaishnavi Narayan. I'm a grade 11 student of Tagore Memorial Secondary School. My piece, Women Shaping the Future of Science, shows a team of women and girls in science and how scientists inspire young girls. On the left, I am the girl that is painted. I'm creating a picture of a scientist building a robot. The drone wind turbine around me show my interest in technology and new ideas. On the right, my imagination appears as three women working in science. A researcher using a microscope, an astronomer shown the Saturn symbol, and an agricultural scientist holding a plant. Colorful lines surround the figures to show inspiration, growth, and the link between girls and the woman they look up to. Simple doodles like plants, DNA, a solar panel, and a flask highlight different science fields. The artwork celebrates women and girls in science and encourages young girls to dream big. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susanna Byrne, and I'm a grade 11 student from Queen's College, and I submitted an entry entitled Nurturing the Next Innovator. So, as the great scientist Marie Curie once said, life isn't easy for any of us. But what of that? We must have perseverance and above all else, confidence in ourselves. For this reason, my piece is inspired by Dr. Krishna Sankar, who is a Guyanese-born scientist. The central theme of the painting showcases Dr. Sankar handing over a globe that is just glowing with radiance, and it has all of these scientific symbols and tools inside of it. And she's passing over this globe to a younger girl, which symbolizes the passing of knowledge from one generation to another. Their smiles as well just show how much they cherish the moment, as well as the background, which is a sunset theme, is also incorporated to bring warmth to the painting. The clothes they wear as well, they're both dressed in purple, which symbolizes strength, unity, and female empowerment, which is why it's very important to have women in science today. Like, imagine a world where girls are told that they're incapable of achieving their dreams of being a woman in science. Fortunately for us, that world doesn't exist because we as a society are nurturing the next innovator. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy looking at my piece as much as I enjoy painting it.
On Friday last, Guyana joined with the rest of the world in observing World Radio Day under the theme Radio and Artificial Intelligence. AI is a tool, not a voice. For more than a century, radio has been a powerful means of communication. In its 70-year history in Guyana, radio has played a vital role in sharing information, developing and preserving culture, and in education. From early beginnings as a recording studio for the Broadcast to Schools program, EdYou FM has expanded tremendously, offering 24-hour educational programming to communities throughout the country. In January of this year, the station was more closely aligned to the Ministry of Education's Distance Education Unit to streamline educational content delivery. To talk more about EdYou-FM's impact and plans for the future is head of the Distance Education Unit, Philip Williams.
The past 2 years showed us the need for embracing technology, and we had no choice. We had to do it. I think radio is yet another step there, and I believe that radio has the ability to reach places that other technology can't reach at right now, except for satellite. So this effort is yet another approach by the ministry to meet and to provide premium education content, especially to people who are in the hinterland, people who are away from the coast. What is nice about this is that we're able to give the same content that we're accustomed to on the coast for people in the hinterland, people in the mountainous areas, people in the savannas. So I'm excited about the possibilities for radio. What is different with what we're doing here at EdYou-FM? We are going physically to the communities and letting them know that this radio belongs to them. By that, if a school has a PTA meeting, if the school has a sale or a fundraiser, they can text us and send us the information, and we have 3 live shows daily that we can announce this on. We want to have them have a sense of ownership. So while we're here in Kingston broadcasting, we tell the broadcasters, we're not broadcasting for Georgetown alone, and to think about those communities that depend on the information that we're disseminating. In some places, this is the only radio they'll be hearing. And so our whole mindset about having them embrace EdYou-FM as their community radio, I think that's what's different with the approach that we're taking. Apart from the live shows where they can send information, or we could say hi to teachers, we could call out teachers' names, etc. We're continuing 24 hours of educational content, and that's what makes us different.
EdYou-FM is the home of family edutainment.
We put the word family there because we're catering not only for the students, but we're catering for the adults. And so there are sessions and there are lessons that are geared towards general audience. There are features that are geared towards general audience. What we're doing as well, your own show like the Spotlight and Focus on Education, we pull that and we have that broadcast as well, so people could get general information to what's happening in the Ministry of Education. What is nice is this new lesson that we're doing in Spanish. So this is for people who speak Spanish. Coming into our schools, a lot of students from the borders and from different countries coming in, and they don't know how to speak English in the class. So English as a second language is something that the ministry is going to be pushing, and we're happy to pilot this on our station.
Like the Learning Channel, EdYou-FM has crafted programs designed to capture the learner's attention.
We have embarked on year-round training for teachers and writers. Like you said, writing for radio is different. You have to write in a very descriptive way that presents the image just by the audio, because there's no accompanying video. And so there's a specialized training for that, and we're happy to offer that training throughout the entire year. We've have over 70 teachers that have completed training so far, and we're excited to train more. I'm particularly excited for what's going to happen in Region 9. And so we talk on places like Aishalton, Anai, Karasabay, and those places, and even Central Latam. So in every region, we'll have a presence. We are catering for people whose first language is not English. So our lessons, the current lessons that we have, we'll have them recorded in Wapishan, Akawayo, etc.
Mashramani season is in full swing, and our children are celebrating under the theme MASH 2026, Little Builders of One Guyana, learning together and shaping a digital tomorrow. The children's Mashramani competitions wrapped up this week, with the regional winners going head-to-head in the finals at the National Cultural Center on Thursday and Friday, and then the big parade on Saturday. On Thursday, the students displayed their talents in calypso and dramatic poetry.
It's me, listener. I'm tired of seeing all your women Thus, my position is made then, if I can't get closure for the murders of our Caribbean women. What do you think they done with no power command? I love Diana. Living every night. Be strong, still be strong. Come back, we feel it dancing, rising like we climb. No shame can bind, no force in this life. I'm not Diana. Myself, that was marriage, stress, life. Then came the first step. Not hard, not enough to leave a mark, just enough to let me know what he was capable of. I remember feeling, not screaming, not fighting. My body lost before my mind caught up. After that, the house felt smaller. Hey, Matthew. Jumped up, put hands up, and oh, I didn't remember our book, never read. But what now? The road feels empty. Barns get thinner like old thread. From here you blink and wonder if me and the masquerade party dead. I love my country. You know it's funny,
More creative expression followed on Friday with the dance and hip-hop finals.
Anger. Please, God, deliver me from these afflictions. The curse is broken. You have been broken, your innocence stolen. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. Every eye I see, I see it in the most high. Every tongue confess that Jesus,
The competitions culminated on Saturday with the Grand Costume Parade, featuring revelers from all the regions. Now, staying true to the art form, this year, the finals of the Masquerade competition took place in the streets alongside the costume parade. National events such as the Children's Mashramani competitions aim to offer Guyana's youngest minds an integrated learning experience. Moreover, as Guyana pushes to develop the orange economy, as reflected in this year's national budget, events like the Children's Mashramani competitions play an important role in identifying and cultivating young talent. They are a long-term investment in the future of Guyana's cultural and creative industries. Here's a recap of this week's featured stories. Guyana begins piloting a biometric attendance system in schools as the ministry underscores accountability in the classroom. NSERT celebrates young talent for International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Guyana marks World Radio Day, highlighting the continued impact of EdYou FM. And students shine at the Children's Mashramani Finals. And that's all for this week's edition of EdYou Pulse. Join us again next time for more updates from across the education sector.